What's up, my fellow HVAC guys? We are over here at the same place we were at the other day. There's that 10-ton Ruud. And it looks like we're having a problem with this one. It's just not heating. So let's jump into this and see what the deal is. Alright. So why don't we have heat? I'm gonna start out by checking my low voltage. Nothing. Uh-oh. Why aren't I reading any voltage? Let's check our line voltage coming in, which we should have some. I hear some buzzing in there. Now, where are we at? So we should be in right here. Okay, so we do have power coming in, but we don't have 24 volts. So let's check why. Oh, buried under this nest of wires here, looks like we have a short. That would be why we don't have low voltage. So I'm gonna kind of visually inspect some of these wires. If I can find any place we might be rubbing out, we might be shorting. I don't see anything so far. So I'm gonna check for a direct short to common here on this board, if I can. Maybe I might just go red to common. Put our meter on resistance, 46 ohms. So we have a load in between it. If it was reading 0.1 ohms, you'd know there's a direct short somewhere. So, you know, there's more than one way to skin a cat. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna disconnect this thermostat and throw this breaker on the transformer back on. And let's see if we can find this short. All right, so I reset our fuse and we're not tripping. So what I'm gonna do now is send power to the furnace to turn on. Get my jumper. So our blower is running. Everything's running fine. So we just gotta figure out why that fuse popped. These are some of the most difficult ones to figure out. But we'll do our best. See where in the world this rub out is, or this short is. So, I'm gonna kill this power, reconnect my low voltage. .7 ohms of resistance. Okay. I gotta check the specifications on this contactor, but that may be our issue. Right. Okay guys, so we found our culprit. It's the contactor right here. Our 24 volt coil in the back there is shorting to common. The resistance across that coil is about 0.6 ohms of resistance, and I've come across this before, actually on a York unit, and it ended up being the same thing. Luckily this is the compressor contactor, so they shouldn't be needing to run the AC anytime soon. We'll get them a quote to replace this. I'm in my personal truck right now, so I don't actually have one of these contactors with me, but it's actually for a church. So we'll decide what they want to do and come back and get this guy swapped out. Alright my dudes, so I talked to the customer and we got approval to go ahead and swap this contactor out today. I just ran up to the supply house, got one real quick, and we're gonna get this in and be done with it today. We got our 3-pole 40 FLA 24 volt contactor, and it causes cancer and reproductive harm. So let's get this in and get on to the next one. Here's T2. And then T3. So a little trick I learned over at HVACR videos from Chris is when you're tightening these lugs down, Get them down to where they're nice and tight, back it off about 1/8 of a turn, and then retighten, and you'll get a lot more play out of it. So you can ensure that we're not going to have a burnt wire in a couple months. You know what I forgot to do? Just out of curiosity, I want to show you the difference. So there's our coil right back here. There's our common and our power. Common as well. Common, power. So check out the resistance across that coil. Hopefully you guys can see that. 0.7 ohms. The resistance across our new coil, 8.6 ohms. That's where our short was. It's kind of hard to spot sometimes. There's some real low resistance coils on contactors like this. I've even seen them get up really high, or even around about 30 ohms on some 2-pole contactors. But when you get down that low, it's a real safe bet to say to get that changed out. Alright, well, hopefully I didn't pull anything out of the board. This relay. So I am going to test this compressor contactor real quick. I'm just going to jump it back from the power on the transformer to 24-volt coil, and watch that compressor and the condenser fan come on, and that should be it. Fingers crossed. That's it. So I'm just gonna get this all wired back up. Got one more call to go to after this. I'm gonna put in a request that we clean some more of this up. Probably end up having to come back this spring during our summer maintenance, and we'll get these guys taken care of. Most definitely. But I'm gonna do what I can for now. At least we'll get a little protection from the weather. This wire really should be ran up here into this cabinet, but... Alright guys, well that's it for this one. I really appreciate you guys watching, man. I know I only have a couple subscribers and a couple views on my videos, but I really appreciate who's ever watching this, and I really appreciate it if you'd continue watching. I learned a lot from YouTube videos when I first started in this about 5 years ago, and I just wish to pass that on to the next guy. So if you like what you saw, like it, you know, subscribe, share it, whatever. Follow me on Instagram. I just started one. It's ACR Texas. I haven't really figured out how to work it too much yet, but yeah, man, keep coming back and keep watching, and I'll try to put out some better content.